Our 80-hour run to the Circuit de la Sarthe begins here and now. 9 rounds ahead of us. The green flag is in the air, and season 13 of the Virtual Endurance Championship at a very, very wet Silverstone is about to be underway. Arne Sconefleet on pole position, and he is away. Oh, we're nearly making it 3 wide into T1 already. I think the Agira is going to be clear. There's already been a penalty applied to Andrelli Riccielli down in the background, but there we go. We've got Mohammed Patel, who's already got up into the second position, effectively darting around with the LMP2s. In the top right hand of your screen, you can look backwards from Arne Sconefleet and see that, oh, he's run wide into T2. Oh my goodness me. It's allowed the Varga LMP2.
Jesus Christ, Ibrahim, you are such a moron. You're
nearly spinning out.
That's penalty worthy.
Mohammed Patel, there's going to be carnage in the background. We saw a yellow flag popping out. I'm assuming that's down in the GTE category.
Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff going on in the GTs. They're even more chaotic than actually the prototypes, but everybody is kept pointing in the same direction as Varga get into second place. It's looking like Rookie Monster's trying to get into third at the moment, just following through and getting through on Mohammed Patel. This is a situation that we don't often see. Trying to get through is Patel, but is Patel's trying to get or trying not to get overtaken. Indeed, as they come over the old start finish line, it's all going on in the background, all going on in GT as well. But a really chaotic start. You can see the hypercars faster in a straight line, of course, but once you get to the corners, these LMP2s are more than a match for them. As we cycle back to the GTE category, that is the class leader, Waveframe Esports, receiving a penalty before they even got to the green flag in season 13. That is not a good start for them at all.
Yeah, Ilias Fernandez directly behind to the number 96. I believe had a podium, was one of the drivers behind the Asombic car when they had a podium back in VIR last season. This, though, effectively looking at a net lead of the race once the Waveframe Esports GTE comes in for a potential drive-through penalty. I'm sure they'll be all over the radio messaging race director Jimmy Allison saying, oh, come on, it's the start of the season. Behind that, though, you can see Pelesny as well. You've got Jimmy Nasula. Keep an eye on those two. Those two are in the Porsches here today, and realistically, across the race distance, they're expected to be the stronger car.
Yeah, they are indeed, and you can just see by this camera shot at the moment that the gap between the prototypes and the GTs pace-wise is actually smaller than it normally is. I guess that's partly because the prototypes are battling so much at the moment, and they're so interspersed with battling in each other, that the gap between the two categories and the two classes of car of the three are much smaller than normal, so there's going to be a lot.
I have a feeling Ibra is going to get banned.
In these wet weather conditions.
The shit that he's doing right now, man. Holy shit, man.
Let's see.
Look what he's doing to Hani. Max Verstappen doesn't do that.
Taken by Hani Al-Sabti in the number 1 car, down in 5th place. There is Mohammed Patel, nearly passed on the cutback. The LMP2s are definitely looking quicker at the moment as Chinchit's applying pressure to Arne Sconefleet at the front of the field. Ibrahim Khan was applying some fairly decent pressure. As who's dropping backwards? Oh, we've got side by side for 13th place. Jeroen Kwekel and Jonas Raivio. That's the G-Drive car on the Zancho. Zancho on the inside. Jonas Raivio down in 13th place. My goodness, it's not where I would have expected a driver of his caliber. And Jeroen Kwekel, another FSR World Champion.
Yeah, great drivers down the back of the field, just showing the strength in depth that this season has in the Virtual Endurance Championship, better than ever. All these hypercars battling, of course, and the LMP2s trying to make their own space as well. Put Raivio into 6th position. Not the most experienced prototype driver, it has to be said. And he said before the race here today that he's not going to be as comfortable in the traffic as those around him. We'll see how that plays out. And this wet weather condition, I think, will help him, because he won't have to do quite so much lapping of other cars in these wet weather conditions. As we mentioned, the prototypes and GTs are much closer together than normal, so this kind of situation might help Jonas Raivio a little bit, as Waveframe, last year's champions, down in 6th position and nearly got dive bomb there into the final rush again.
Yeah, we've got we're looking at Rory McDuff, currently Peter Velix. Effectively, from Singularity, they are the defending series champion in LMP2. Their main championship rival last season directly behind, but ahead of them, Dennis Jordan for Burst Edge Esports. That is a double LMP2 champion in the Virtual Endurance Championship, moved up to the hypercar class last year, and was contending for the championship. It didn't really work out for them in the end. I think they finished third in their title run, but they were really a part of that championship fight all the way through. Went back down to LMP2 this season, and I feel they are a bit more comfortable in their scenario at the moment. However, they are behind one of their sister teammates, Michi Hoyer, who, I mean, for those of you that have been watching sim racing on rFactor 2 over the last, let's go with 10 months. Over the entirety of 2020, Michi Hoyer is a driver that's really moved into the forefront of sim racing, winning things like GT Challenge and being one of the title contenders realistically in the FSR World Championship, winning the first race of the season. Michi Hoyer is definitely one to keep an eye on in the Virtual Endurance Championship scene this year.
Yeah, and so is that whole car, the number 49 Burst Esport car. He's partnering with Mrozek, Pedersen and Panzer. That is a very strong driver lineup, as are all of the Burst Esports cars. If you include the Burst Edge Esports one that's just behind him right now as well, they have got some seriously quick drivers, and they are going to be a team to watch throughout the season so far. Not quite topping the standings as it stands at the moment, but obviously the race is won after 8 hours and not after 6 minutes. So they've got to just bide their time here. As further on in the background, Anthony Jans, a very experienced LMP2 driver, is going for driving for Team Spirit Racing here once again, as he has done for pretty much since I can remember, to be honest. Just ahead of 10th place Juan Carlos Fernandez. That's the battle for 9th at the moment. Schumfleet is still setting fastest laps of the race at the front of the field, and that's to be expected. He's just got 1 second over Chinsik right now, but those two have got quite a gap over the rest of the field, which are basically just one long train behind Mohamed Patel.
Yeah, it's going. I'd say it's going fairly well for the Jira squad at the moment. Yes, they've got an LMP2 directly behind, but they're pulling away from their main rival in the category quite comfortably. I will say Marcel Chinchik, who moved from Blackhawk Racing to Vargason Racing, was very impressive in LMHC at various points last year. His speed at this venue last year, he was doing very well until there was an incident with one of the T3 Motorsports LMP2s. Going through Magnus Beckers and Chapel, which I was less than fond of, that move. But either way, he now moves to Varga Sim Racing, which is a fairly strong team, realistically. They're picking up some very strong drivers, of course, in the BMW Sim M2CS Racing Cup. They've got Mikkel Smeed.
Only when I approach the first GT.
They're picking up some strong drivers, and Marcel Chinchik, one of their drivers in the Virtual Endurance Championship.
Okay.
Very strong, maybe a little bit too aggressive whilst racing, but certainly has the speed.
Yeah, and he's in the lead at the moment to the
long way to them.
2.5 seconds.
Okay.
Rookie Monsters, who are in second. Ibrahim Khan driving that car at the moment. It looks like we've reached a bit of a status quo in the prototype field. It doesn't look like there's much of a difference at all between the hypercars and the LMP2s in terms of pace. I was expecting the LMP2s to be a little bit quicker in race pace, but not quite to what we were expecting. Back in the GT category, it is close as ever. This is Jose Berengauer in the 6th placed Porsche, and he's got a couple of Porsches behind him. That's Rookie Monsters immediately behind, and then the second of the Waveframe GTEs, another one of those Ferraris. And that is currently Renz Klopp driving that car, all in a bit of a battle for 6th place, and it's all continuing on down the field as well.
Last GT is entering last straight right now, back straight.
Can't be improved.
Okay.
It's just the fuel load's going down ever so slightly, and people just getting accustomed to the
How much
conditions.
ahead am I
Not
of the
expecting
next
this rain to relent
Senna?
anytime soon.
Either side of this battle, you've got the two title contenders, as James Johnson in P30 overall, just behind this battle. Nearly got a bit of a walk there. A walk there? I didn't know what word I was going for, but we'll go with a walk. Why not? By Brioni. The 87, though, defending series champion in GT. They were supposed to have 2 GTs in the category with Zancho, but nevertheless,
6 seconds.
Not really happening here today. And 9th place. Winners here last year in a BMW moved to Corvette. Who else moved to Corvette? Their main championship rivals last season, currently driven by Christian Michael, who's in the NV squad now. Of course, like I said before, that was the team that was basically behind Singularity, but they've moved from Porsche to Corvette for Nita Velux, and again, not really in the position we would have expected them, down in 5th place when they were leading quite a lot here last year.
Yeah, it's a little bit strange to see Christian Michel down in the GTE category as well. I'm used to seeing him in a prototype or an LMP1 or something like that, but down getting the laps put on him now rather than putting the laps on the GTs himself. Got to say, it's a pretty nice looking car as well, with the kind of black and yellow Corvette. Looks quite stealthy actually. That car.
Thanks. I really dislike it. I really dislike it, but I'm allowed to dislike it because I made it, so it's fine.
Oh right, okay.
I really can't stand that car.
Well,
are you listening, Dennis?
Apparently not.
Dennis Lind? No, I'm joking. It's growing on me. Dennis Lind, of course, the main guy behind NV. Not racing today is Lind, I think. He was saying yesterday anyway that he wasn't, so you know. It's a shame.
It is. Yes, it's always a shame to not see Dennis Lind here at the moment, but back up the front of the field, Boya Milan is in 5th place in the hypercar category. Got a couple of cars behind him at the moment. The number 17 car is Sancho, Eunice Ravio, and then Jeroen Kweekel in the number 8 is just behind him. Battle for 5th, 6th and 7th going on. Lots of spray going on as well. Some LMP2s for good measure, just in front and just behind as well. So it's all very close at the front of the field after just 10 or 12 minutes for now. But no moves being made down here into Brooklands, Alderfield. Just a little bit too early to be making those kind of daredevil moves down the inside at any point, as we have a pit stop now for the Wave Free 68. They've accepted their penalty and they've taken it, so we've got a new leader in the GT category. DX Droids, the number 96, now lead.
Yeah, they're very hotly contested, that lead though, with Satellite Racing directly behind and a fresh livery for them. They had a good livery last year using the PBR shaders. It's not quite as striking in my opinion, but that said, they've used the PBR shaders quite well, and of course picked up a new sponsorship in all of their running. VRS, a brand which is known quite well for sim racing, their setup guidance elsewhere. Now backing Satellite Racing, I'm sure the guys at Satellite, like Matt Strand and a lot, they'll be well chuffed.
Yeah, I'm glad to see Satellite Racing up there actually, because I think they were under par a little bit throughout the last season, season 12. So it's good to see them back up there and fighting for race wins, is what it looks like at the moment.
Yeah, they showed good pace at various points last season, but it didn't really work out in the end. They always. I remember Imola. They were leading various laps at Imola. Were doing very well, but then through strategy and maybe consistency, just didn't quite have the legs to go the distance. Fastest lap of the race, by the way, came in from Marcel Chinchik, currently running overall in 2nd place. The tower that you can see there is separated by class. So
Class GT is entering back straight, so soon you will be there.
It's pretty obvious. Nevertheless, that's how it is. The actual order is a little bit more messy than that, but as points are only awarded per class, kind of the overall order doesn't actually matter. Like, say for example with Marcel Chinchik, of course you'd want to win the race because like that's just cool to do that in the lower category. There isn't any extra points for doing so though. You still get the same amount of points because points are awarded per category.
Yeah, so 25 for a win, but it doesn't change if you win the overall or if you win in your class, you still get 25 points. So there's not that much of an incentive for him to catch the hypercar in front of him, Ivana Shumvli, but
the thing is, everyone below P4 are all quite close together.
We'll wait and
So
find
it will
out,
be
but
hard
still
to overtake.
overall, and that's not where we're used to seeing the LMP2s, which is
Honey Pasty Breitling, finally.
Totally shaken up order, which is always nice to see, really, whatever we're racing. A nice shaken up order is always making the racing interesting, but as you mentioned a little bit earlier on before the race, the LMP2s have to stop more than the hypercars over a race distance, so they're going to fall behind probably.
Speaking of chopping and changing, battle for P4, Hani Al Sabti. Speaking of getting ahead and basically focusing on your own class, Hani Al Sabti, driver for R8 GE Sports, was behind the wheel when effectively AAA's title run had a bit of a question mark on it. at VIR, overcooked the corner and got a disqualification for basically heading wrong way on the circuit. It was a bit of bad luck. Nevertheless, they came back and won the championship anyway, so who cares? Basically, he's just got by the rookie monster car of Ibrahim Khan. So he's
was on stream once.
Again, no points in that game, but
yes.
that said, he can now focus.
Good to know.
On Mohammed Patel for
yet to be mentioned
ahead of him, and potentially
oh, just shown
nicely further up the road. He's lost 6 seconds in the opening 15 minutes.
Thank you, I guess.
As we tick down the clock. I will say Ibrahim Khan's doing a great job at the moment. Well clear of the burst.
Ibrahim Khan is doing a great job at the moment.
He is doing a fantastic job there.
I mean, he is. He's P2.
I outlined at the start of the day as a really strong lineup, but they are surprising a few at the moment with their performances as it stands. They've got 5 drivers signed up to that car, so they're going to be chopping and changing a lot throughout the season and throughout the race. Going to try and keep it rested, keep their drivers rested so that they can perform a little bit better while they are out there. We are expecting quite a few driver stops from them today. Maybe not all 5 drivers getting into that car, but 3 or 4 definitely.
How much slower per lap am I compared to Hani and...
Keep them on their toes as well. It's always nice to
compared to the top 3
between stints, especially in that LMP2 where you feel like you're into the pit lane quite a lot. Actually, with the relatively small fuel tank.
Your last lap was 02.9. They are doing low 02s or high 01s.
Jesus.
Single stinting tyres, triple stinting.
Yeah, I mean that's fast.
What is best in these conditions because of how the wet tyres behave.
Jesus.
And obviously, I don't know how accurately it portrays it, but I know like with heat and stuff, they're very, very sensitive to heat. Wet tyres. They're effectively the softest tyres that we've got in. Anytime we've got a wet tyre, it's always going to be the softest compound. And the tread blocks on it can wear away fairly quickly, especially with heat and stuff, once they start moving the edge of the tyre. And so effectively, like, there may be quite a gain to changing tyres each stint. That said, the tyre change does take quite a long time.
Am I extending the gap to the next Senna?
So whether there is much of an advantage there or not,
it was at, I think, 6 seconds.
Yes.
I get the feeling
how big is it now?
Most people double stinting. I don't think we'll see many people triple stinting.
Still 6 seconds, but you were faster last lap.
The game being played there, particularly in hypercar.
Who is it though?
Is going to be a
Monaco.
very long stint on one set of tyres. So
Borja or Chris?
Be played out.
Borja Milan.
1 hour 20 for a fuel tank here. So if you're doing 2 of them, that's a very long time to be on a set of tyres.
Unless
yeah,
unless they don't double this. Okay, right. This is what we did at Le Mans. I spoke about this at Le Mans last year. Earlier this year. But in season 8, when we were at Le Mans, we short stinted because basically you take less fuel and you change tyres or whatever, or you shorten each stint. So effectively, what if in LMHC you only go for an hour on a stint?
Man, I'm sorry, but I cannot do much faster than this. I think
it's only 40 minutes of fuel you're putting in.
It's
then
fine.
You run the tyres out even further. So then you take the
I can barely keep up with Ibrahim, and the rest are just pulling away.
But in the long run,
As long as we make no mistakes, we will be fine.
Here's the battle.
Let's hope we don't then.
I don't really know exactly which position this is for over. I think it's about P11. Realistically, the first car in shot there is Peo Pev for Butler Powell. Then you've got Borja Milan for Monaco in the hypercar class. You've got Yunus Raivio. You've got the G Drive car directly behind that, and yes, that is an actual G-Drive car in a sense, all branded and stuff properly. It looks very good in my opinion on the Senna, and behind that we've got Jan van der Heide.
Even Cheroon and G-Drive have been mentioned more than us.
They had 3 GTEs. They've still got 3 cars in the grid.
I'm telling you, man. They don't like us.
Feels bad, man.
Trying to win all 3 categories at once, it looks like, at this point. But we're about to approach a we've got to a very big moment in this race, and indeed this season. The first traffic of season 13 is upon us as the race.
Well, I am kind of in no man's land at the moment, so.
You are finally at the back of GTs.
GTE train. That is Andrea Riccielli in the pole-sitting Wave 3 esports car. It's trying to make its way.
So this is where the fun begins.
Yep. It's about to have 21 prototypes come through in the next few laps. This is going to be very, very exciting now.
Yeah, to say that he started from pole, has gone through for, as far as I'm aware, it was only a drive-through. It may have been a stop and go, but as far as I'm aware, it was only a drive-through. In fact, based on the times, it would have only been. And he is last. That shows how strong the GTE category is, because it's still bunched up, and it means that life for this man on your screen right now, Arne Skånevliet, is going to be very, very tricky. He's just going to have to be patient. Remember that Marcel Czincik directly behind is not the person that he's actually racing in category, so he just needs to be brave, be confident, but most importantly, be patient. Ticking off GTEs now. There's a couple gone. He'll get another, maybe another one or two before we get to Stowe. Flashing the lights. You never really want to be the first driver to hit traffic, because when you're the first one, they're like, oh, there's traffic down here. Whereas if you're like the second one, you just follow through all of the time and stuff that's been lost. We've also got a battle just ahead of this. This is for further down in GTE. Who have we got here? It is Martin Derlin, who was in that GTE Porsche for Singularity last season, down in 38th place overall. The battle that's directly ahead in the Jean Alesi Esports Aston Martin GTE. So things really not working out for them.
Yeah, that's a car I would be expecting to be way up further towards the front, but arguably a brave choice going for the Aston Martin. Not always the most popular, and certainly not this season either. We're seeing a few of the British brand cars down the back of the field. He's trying to get through on one of the Ferraris. Just giving
they are finally showing the overall class table.
Right behind them as well, coming down through Aintree and now down towards Brooklands. It might be a move going on
in
for,
top 10. There are only 3 Sennas.
Simply is through either way. And one other thing about the
That's good
hypercars
to know.
and the LMP2 cars is that the hypercars are better through traffic. They're stronger in a straight line, so they can clear more cars while they're in a straight line, which means they have less to deal with in the corner.
Ibrahim, what are you doing, man? What are you doing?
On the left-hand side of your screen, you've got the full leaderboard there, and one thing that you'll note from that is that it's gap to leader. And so for Mohammed Patel, whilst they've been going through traffic, whilst they've been clearing them off, he's gained nearly 2 seconds up to the back of Arne Skånevliet. He's just picked up a little bit of traffic through Cops. It's really not played out for him. Czincik, by the way, made contact with Melichak Nakli into T4. It was a light bit of contact, but nearly spun him out, and very good car control from the pair of them to actually keep them on the road. The next one for Arne Skånevliet to fire by before he's got a bit of air is the Volante car, whether it's it was.
So apparently Czincik had contact with one GT and almost got spun out.
The Aston Martin. Say it's
No,
a great choice taking the Aston, but it got better over the
Michael is right behind me now.
Hoping it will go the same way. You know, you take a gamble with
The Michael.
cars and hope the bot
Yeah.
goes in your favour. Of course, balance of performance, and unfortunately for those in the Aston Martin, not really so much in that sense at the moment.
No, not at the moment. The battle for fourth, by the way, in LMP2 is raging on as we go through some more traffic. And also, further down in the GTE category, Ferris Stanley, who was driving the Ground Effect Sim Racing number 72 GT, now out of the race for some reason. Don't know if that was a disconnection
losing
or
it a bit.
crash or what has gone on there, but it looks like we've got our first retirement of the race and only 20 minutes in. That is a major disappointment for them. But sometimes the way it goes is Skånevliet gets caught up in a load of traffic. Well, one car, but just gets in his way quite a lot there. And now Czincik is right behind him, trying to get through almost. But the straight line speed of that hypercar will be enough for him to keep the lead.
Yeah, that was Adam Baldwin, the person that gave everyone a bit of good luck before the start of the race. Of course, previous season champion Adam Baldwin in the GT category a couple of seasons ago. But Arne Skånevliet definitely got balked a little bit by traffic there, and now comes across Big Boss's car. This is Kiraly behind the wheel at the moment, not Marcel Offerman's. Of course, that is Marcel Offerman's car though, so you know, don't be careful around it. Be careful. It was pretty tight there for Skånevliet, but lives to fight another day. A little bit of an update on the driver that did retire, being Ferris Stanley. Is
9 seconds to go behind.
Was a disconnection, so Ferris Stanley back out.
Okay, that's good.
Our retirement last season. It took just 7 laps before a retirement in the previous season. One target was in a very high-speed crash at Copse Corner with Martin Firma behind the wheel and straight on into the barrier. It cost him basically everything that race, and they had to pull the plug very, very early.
Yeah, they did indeed. The battle for second overall.
Whoa,
heating
okay.
up now.
I got blocked heavily by the GT. There was no need for that, main.
he has got Mohammed Patel for company. So let's see, down into, sorry, Patel, yeah, down into the chicane. Down, Shinfleet gets the position, and Shinsik can't quite follow him through. That's Ancho Kart, and he's going for the cutback now on the Corvette. Can he get him into the final corner? That is sometimes a dodgy place to go for a move, and he's stayed behind just a little bit. And now, here we go. It's Patel going to go for it. He's very close behind the LMP2 and almost being slowed up by it now. So he's not going to be best pleased. And he's also got another hypercar catching on behind him. Haniel Sabti is really closing in on this battle now.
Yeah, it's getting very, very tight. The battle for the podium overall, realistically, is becoming very, very tight. It's Marcel Chinchik's trying to fight his way through traffic. Arne Schoenfleet has already gone from this pack. There's a couple of GTEs here that they need to clear. And Tim Neuendorf will be the first one of that, and Chinchik's going to pick him off on the Wellington straight. I think Mohammed Patel is also going to try and fire his way through pretty quickly. These two GTEs shouldn't really cause too much of a problem, but Mohammed Patel nearly going for second place. There's further traffic for Schoenfleet. Chinchik is fighting very hard with cars he realistically doesn't need to be, and Patel is seeing his chances of a victory in the early, or at least leading the early stage of this race going. As he's got Haniel Sabti, previous series champion, all over his rear end. A bit of traffic between them, but Patel on a debut for Jean Lacey Esports in the Virtual Endurance Championship. I'm not sure how much endurance racing Mohammed Patel's done in his time. He's actually a well-versed driver. He's not just done open-wheel stuff like FSR. He has raced in anything from a Brazilian style to
so much time
lost
lost at the exit of Maggots Beckett.
For Patel, just picking traffic really at the wrong point, and Schoenfleet's gone.
Yeah, that is scary going through there. Maggots and Beckett's trying to get around the outside in the hypercar. Very scary stuff past the wave-free GTE. Not the pole-sitting car, but the other car, the sister car, is now side by side between Patel and Halsapti. Free wide with a bit of traffic as well. Sliding under the brakes, squirming.
Patel almost lost the car.
But Mohammed Patel holds on for now. That was a very high-risk moment into Stowe. You see the way the Senna was just sliding around all over, the most unstable rear end I've seen for a very long time into Stowe. Not a particularly hard braking point, but he was really
Michael is on my anus.
Yeah, oh my goodness. I thought that he was going straight on. Somehow kept it on the road, and Haniel Sabti didn't get by.
What are you doing, Michael? Jesus!
Well, we've got Ibrahim Khan, who's dragging Andonovski as well in the Drillers Esports car. Chop and change position.
You realize that I'm gonna pass you, right? You do realize that I'm gonna pass you.
In P8 overall are battling in LMP2. That's a pretty big battle. It's 5th place in class at the moment that Rory McDuff's holding, in 4th place for Dennis Jordan. I think Andonovski's been passed as well by Mitchie Hoyer in all of this. My goodness, what is going on today? Oh, wow.
It is so busy in this midfield right now. Just heading out of turn 5, and anywhere from there, it is truly chaotic, as McDuff is going to look to the inside maybe for a move. Oh, that was close. I thought there was going to be contact between the two of them, but not quite. He's really trying to approach on the back of Dennis Jordan at the moment. Can't quite get through as they're continuing through traffic. Nearly another hit on the back of that car in front. As now they make their way out of Luffield. It is super close in this.
I lost so much time because of that. Fucking idiot.
Hoyer and Andonovski as they run through cops. There's near contact again. They just passed in the foreground of this as McDuff clears a little bit of traffic, but Hoyer is
Jesus Christ, he's a moron.
Car at the moment. Realistically, just to try and gain a bit of track position and a bit of time on Ibrahim Khan. There we go, Andonovski's through with a brave move. And Dennis Jordan now trying to go around the outside of a Porsche. Oh, and McDuff slid. Oh, McDuff's cost himself an awful lot of time there.
He has indeed, dropping back, way back. And Andonovski also made a bit of a mistake, I believe, as well. We might have seen a change for second, and we have. Patel is ahead of Chinsik now. I believe that happened into Stoke, and it did, down there into the final chicane as well. We go now, and Chinsik is down to 3rd. He's not going to be pleased about that, because as we've seen earlier on in this race, or a couple of laps ago, he is really fighting for these overall positions. He wants to get the best possible result, and so he's fighting for these places right now.
This is big.
Yeah. Oh.
For Patel, that is the last GTE driver for Mohammed Patel. He's cleared going into Abbey. That is a big move for Mohammed Patel. And Haniel Sabti, he's desperate. He's diving down the inside on Chinchik. Oh, nearly made contact. And this is battling and messing up the GTE leaders. It's still DX Droids leading from Satellite. but it is getting very tight at the moment. As
how many more GTs do you have to pass, man?
Marcel Cinchik should be clear to get by the M8 right out onto the Wellington Straight.
Yeah, they'd all fan out, of course,
All the dots are together, I can see which one of you.
Cinchik holds on to third, and they've all cleared the GT traffic now, so
only one this lap.
Advantage at the front of the race. To 3.5 seconds.
Okay, it's two, it's not one.
Yes,
there's a BMW.
The second one was behind the blue dot. Best live diving.
Okay, I'm ahead, that's good.
You've got a yellow flag in sector 1. Who is that for? The 57 GTE is off.
Yeah, I can see actually Honey. Like I was gonna pass Ibrahim even if Michi didn't fuck it all up.
I
mean, Honey is also losing time.
Just slipping and sliding, but nevertheless.
I mean, he's ahead, so. But I can still see. Actually, I cannot see. Jesus.
Honey is fighting with Cinchik.
Whoa, Patel is. Oh, I can barely see Arne. Jesus.
The likes of Michi Hoy behind.
Yeah, Sean Jacobs has also been off, by the way, at Brooklands in a bit of a battle in GTE. As we continue looking at this battle of LMP2, 8th place overall. Rory McDuff trying to get through on Dennis Jordan, looking to the outside of that burst car at the moment. Bit of traffic in the way as well as they slide their way out of Stowe into the chicane. Here we go. No moves being made though. That Porsche kind of blocking the inside manoeuvre. He's going to have to go round the outside as McDuff.
Okay, gap to Borja.
It's going to cost him a little bit of time to that burst car just in.
Or whoever is in pit 5.
Yeah, it's tough battling here, but nevertheless with Rory McDuff, I think we've got a little bit of a word from him prior to the start of the race to see what goals he's got over season 13.
Hey guys, I'm Rory McDuff.
Live timing is messed up, I can't see.
Okay.
I will wait until the standings will come back to the top 5.
Before I joined the VEC in 2018, most of my experience lied within open-wheeler cars. And,
Yo, I think your video will be on the stream soon.
My what?
Your video that you sent. They are playing those on stream now.
Increased a lot, and I definitely think it's been very good.
I guarantee you, everybody will be, but not mine. I have a feeling.
Our expectations for the season are that it's going to be very competitive. There are a lot of good drivers in this class, but we're hoping that we can defend for the title that this car, the number 31, last season in season 12. For the most part, we're taking it on a round-to-round basis, but of course we're targeting Le Mans as one of our best performances last season.
I think the P2 stars are sort of giving up right now.
So that's one of the races that we're targeting, as well as everyone else will be targeting. And we also hope that we can do well at Sebring, which is another great race.
Wow, whilst we were hearing from Rory McDuff, what a move from the driver from Massachusetts in the United States. Rory McDuff puts one on the double champion Dennis Jordan behind.
Captain X in 9 seconds.
Okay.
Runs wide at Stowe, nearly drops it, holds on. Dennis Jordan, this is a mighty battle for 4th place in class in LMP2 in the opening race of the Virtual Endurance Championship. Wow, Ewan, that was a move.
Yeah, it really was going 3 wide into
this lap you won't have any GTs.
GTE, I believe. So,
okay.
Truly fantastic move, truly spectacular as well. Somehow
Will be long time when you catch the back.
And Rory McDuff is now up into 4th in class, 8th overall. But it seems as well that the hypercars are just finding themselves a little bit of pace as these fuel loads just drop a little bit. Boy, and Milan is that kind of orangey Wanaco car you can see in the background of Dennis Jordan's shot right now. I wonder if he'll go for a move maybe into Brooklands, because he seems to have found a little bit of something in these final few laps. These LMP2 cars really aren't that far away from making pit stops, maybe about 5 minutes or more, because we know they can do about 40 minutes on fuel. However, with these wet weather conditions, they may be able to go a little bit longer.
Yeah, it was. It's not really a super high fuel burn circuit as this one, so we'd expect between 40 and 45 minutes. But they're very fuel limited, which is why we're expecting them to run a couple of stints on tyres. I will say with the LMP2 category, I'm pretty sure the GTEs don't have them. But the LMP2 category, as far as I remember, is the only category that has intermediate tyres, because hypercars definitely don't have them. I don't think the GTEs do either. So for that, whether it's as McDuff's been off, McDuff has cut across Beckett's, rejoins. No biggie. It's all right. I've done that. Don't worry. It's all good. Wow, that was in these conditions with how wet it is. As much as you have grip online, the moment you go offline, this is the true in real life as it is in rFactor 2. The moment you go offline, it is basically an ice rink, and it's very
Is it
easy
still
to
raining?
put in too sharp
A lot.
input. You could be off. We had a yellow
Why?
flag out there.
Well, the stream is 1080p, I can't see.
Who that was, and they'll be out to go round again. I would assume we'll get a little bit of warning with when these two are going to come into the pit.
Tires letting go a bit.
The likes of Marcel Chinchik and Ibrahim Khan.
Last lap,
McDuff
was it catching
is very
anybody
good on fuel.
of the Sennas in front?
Has been driving this car an awful lot, of course. Did the entirety of VEC last season, including a victory at Le Mans. Now moves over. To
You were second fastest.
Car, of course.
Okay.
Was going to be
Is Arne first?
Yes.
Nice meme.
Car.
Jesus.
Moves over though into the lead car as a
He was
main
faster than you
driver in
by
NC.
2 tenths.
I can't, like, that's my best
season,
lap
of course, took part in the
ever. Like, I
virtual
cannot go
as well,
faster
where he
than
finished
that.
in
Sorry.
fourth place. Won a championship over in the Checkered Flag Endurance Championship as well, so is well versed in this car when it comes to fuel saving and going toe to toe with one of the maestros of strategy as well.
He just built different.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's going to need all of those skills that he's got right now to use on those around him. Dennis Jordan
Ibra is making crucial mistakes right now. He is having 2 cut tracks right in front of me. He's pushing for no reason at all. Actually, Michael is behind me. He should push.
Don't start me, because that's
It's too early in the season for rants like that, so I think we'll
you'll
leave it.
set me off.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm sorry about that, everyone, but Lewis might have to have a moment in a minute. Jimmy, currently watching Jimmy Nisula on the back of Wojtek Pelesny. This is the battle for second place. Yeah, Nisula was right behind Ilias Fernandez not too long ago, but now he's behind Pelesny somehow. I wonder if there was a mistake or something involved in traffic, because these GTEs are still being lapped right now. That is the final hypercar, the last prototype in the field is just about to lap them, and that ends about 20 minutes of pure concentration for all of these GTEs.
How long is the Senna stint time?
No idea. Like, I have still 23 laps to go. I will tell you when I have 60 liters, so double it basically. Okay?
Yeah, it's the
so in time wise, you know.
One to come through,
I have 66 at the moment.
I'm told they're pretty armless in traffic.
I forgot to check Sim Hub. Like, what can full tank do?
We just go with the full tank, man, and just yeah.
Either way, with this battle for the race lead in GTE, Ilias Fernandez has gone well clear down the road from Pelesny. Jimmy Nisula, who's directly behind that, whether there's going to be much happening there. My main focus, though, goes a fair way back from that to the NV driver of Christian.
How is Arne still going quicker, man? Like 1.4
anyway. And we know that
last lap. Jesus.
He is consistently doing mid-01s.
Especially with their pace at the venue last year, obviously a very different car that they're driving at the moment, you would suggest that they'll be able to potentially close that one down. Or
Mohammed is trying to keep up.
The bullets in the gun to fire something later. Turka Hakkinen will be in the car later on, of course, an LMP2 driver moving to GTE. How is he going to fare in the GTE category?
Yeah, that's 2/3 of their team moving over from a prototype setup into one where a GT is well they'll be using. You know, Dennis Linder obviously is an accustomed driver in terms of those GTE cars, which are very different.
Currently, it's like top 3 are doing like mid-01s.
Driven in the past.
Then next 3 are doing mid-02s. And next 4 are doing high 02s.
Battles going on all over the place. So the fact that they're in clean air, in nobody's business, and kind of running their own race at the moment might not be a bad thing.
Yeah, you kind of want to run by yourself at the moment, because the thing is, when it comes to running...
Okay, now I have a mid-01 finally. I think this qualifies as one.
The spray as well.
It doesn't, but still.
You know, I know, like, it's obviously very typical. You've had it on motorsport broadcast before, time and time again, and it's always the TV camera angles don't show the wet weather, because you can see clearly. Look at this angle. It is true, though. In RF2, if you're in... I will never forget the time when they changed how the spray was back in 2015. and I've changed it a few times since, mind. But they changed the spray, and I did a race at the Hungaro ring, as we see.
What's the fastest lap of the P2s?
Out in the two Aston
Like
Martins
Siznik or Ibra?
For 36th place overall, not a position that John Lacey Esports would have been wanting to race for, but 14th place is where
Sinzik is 01.7, Ibra is 01.9.
And going into turn 1, I genuinely couldn't see anything.
What about Michael?
I couldn't see left, I couldn't
Michael
see right,
is 02.2.
And I know that sounds really like,
and he's consistently doing 02.6.
The spray doesn't really linger, but it is absolutely true. When you're behind someone, you can barely see anything. As Derlin's going to try and go around the outside.
Damn, is Zebra actually good, man?
That livery does actually look very good on the outside.
Legit question.
I've been pretty harsh on Allied Racing Esports. It's around the outside of Stowe.
I don't know.
In these conditions, and,
I think he is.
Still, the amount of times he failed SRCA.
A pretty controversial signing for Volante.
Oh, I lost so much time. Holy shit.
Racecraft.
Okay, no more talking about stupid shit.
Series, and of course, the preliminary round for GT Pro.
Lost 7/10.
Whole promotion and stuff. But nevertheless,
when I approach GT Sunday,
he's a very quick driver. So whether it'll be a good move to sign him or not, I'm sure Carter McCall.
I can officially no longer see Arne.
Last GT is in turn 1.
Nice meme.
As we go on board and really get a visual illustration as to what these conditions are like, what these guys are battling with in the GTE category. Moves to the outside now, does Dylan, and now trying to get that good run off of the corner. Can he though? Well, not really. It's a pretty good exit from Lopez in front. So we're in the slipstream now for the John Lacey Esports car. He's gaining into Brooklands, and there might be an opening down here into the inside line. Can he go for it? Not quite. Just covered off ever so slightly as well, but he's gone a little bit wide, and now they go side by side. Dylan gets the slide of his own. Now he's round the outside through Luffield.
Mohammed battle fastest lap of the race. Oh,
I see. 0.1. No, it's 01.1.
Not really worked for him on that occasion, I'm afraid. This battle
okay.
continues on.
My live timing says something else.
Yeah, it's 0.11. I think it's
that windscreen wiper was like me.
Yeah,
it didn't even
Arne.
Down anyway. Like you've got so much rain on your windscreen still. It's literally doing about.
It was honey.
The window. It's terrible. I did look on board though. It's not actually that bad.
Damn.
Honey did 01.1.
Either way,
you mad?
The live stream is behind. It didn't show it yet.
One of the best bits of advice that I ever heard from between two drivers was two drivers battling for various championships, being Robert Wiesenmuller and Eric Strana.
Since he got blue flags for 2 seconds.
In the Virtual Endurance Championship with Eric Strana, was that Robert Wiesenmuller told Eric Strana once that basically sometimes you're trying to make the move look too pretty. And I get the feeling that's kind of what Derlin's doing here. Is he's almost trying to. The only options that he's getting are ones around the outside, and that's what he's kind of committing to. He's like, oh well, this is the only thing I can do. I'll try and go around the outside of every corner. It's kind of like sometimes you just got to get to work. You know what I mean? I'm not saying I'm not saying push it off the road. That's obviously not. But yeah, keep it simple. Stop trying to make things look too pretty. And I know that Lopez is covering it off very well at the moment, but nevertheless, there is always an opportunity somewhere. With covering something off. What's happened?
It's the leaders coming through traffic, and the 75 has got damage, I believe, going slowly into the pit lane anyway. It's the Caspian Motorsport car. Alex Broughtingham is also into the pit lane from Blackhawk. Don't know quite what's happened, but the leader might have been involved. He is coming through the back end of the GTE cars for the second time as we enter 45 minutes complete of this race, but 2 pit stops. I wonder if damage is involved there.
So I'm just having a look now, and basically coming through the penultimate, basic penultimate corner, Stowe corner, Jack Mackley had a bit of a slide and got a hit.
Okay, time to catch Siznik. He's 3 seconds ahead of me.
Gareth Stanley retired from the race again, but that'll be a connection issue, so I wouldn't panic too much.
Was I at least on stream for something?
Nope.
Oh my god.
In the LMP2, he's lost a load of positions. Down
Michael off.
What is that, 10th position?
Nice meme.
Lost couple positions.
Nice meme.
Couple laps ago, Caspian Corvette spun in sector 3 and lost rear wing.
Code 80 in 10 seconds, no overtaking.
Happening now, 45 minutes into the race, and Now it's all going wrong.
5,
Mitchell Hoyer's no
4,
rear wing.
3,
He's lo-
2,
yeah, what is
1.
that? Oh,
Code
he's
80
still
enforced.
sliding. I don't know what.
So the code 80 is because Michael lost rear wing.
Okay. Should I pit? Should I pit? Should I pit? I don't think so. Or
take the goal. I don't know.
watch Arne on the left timing. Watch Arne on the left timing.
I will.
And we are under the first code 80 of the season.
Okay, I'm gonna watch him
Mitchell
actually.
Hoyer.
Okay, he's way too far ahead.
We'll try and grab a replay or something of some
Okay,
description as to
so
what's actually happened
pit crew is
with
ready.
Mitchell Hoyer. I'm assuming
One
based on
thing.
what was being
Should
said, there was an
pit though?
instant prior to him losing the rear wing.
I'm currently faster than ever, but I don't. I think that's mainly the track. You
Based
know.
on where it sounded like he went off in
Let's
the
see.
final sector.
Okay, I'm
which
watching
obviously
him. I'm
comes
watching
to the
him.
pit lane.
He has
I don't
pit
know if he's
ready.
been-
Everybody has pit
been
ready.
absolutely whacked by someone.
Yeah,
Or-
he's going. He's
yeah,
going. He's going.
he's going,
I'm
yes.
literally.
Hoyer was off at
should I
turn
change
one,
tires
so
though?
Yeah.
There was a different incident.
I think so.
at the final
I think so.
corner.
Oh, it's,
Okay.
it was Ferris.
Fuck,
Stanley.
okay.
Oh, that is
Christ Almighty, please let
unbelievable
me
for Mitchell Hoyer. He basically Ferris
make the
Stanley
right call.
lagged Mitchell Hoyer. Ugh. That's a it's pure connection. That here's a replay. Let's talk.
Okay,
this
Mike.
going into
Oh my
Aston
God.
Hall.
Whoa.
Michael
Yeah,
got
thrown up
lagged
inside. That is
in turn 1.
terrible luck for the
He got what?
Sports and
Lagged.
driver and,
What does it mean?
His car
Car
went
number
to air.
72, you need to change driver. Car number 72, Ferris Stanley. Change driver, please.
Like, it got,
Patel
it went standstill and
Okay,
went to air.
I don't see my pit box. Jesus, where is it?
Pretty much split the GTE field in half. So half of the
Ah,
pit
this
lane
is
was
bad
into the
for
pit lane,
Michael.
Whereas the front half
Car number
Wasn't his fault.
72, you need to change driver. Car number
Okay,
72.
I'm in.
Ferris Stanley.
What-
Okay.
Change driver, please.
Wasn't his fault at all.
So Ferris Stanley will rejoin the race,
Okay.
but he has been told that
I
he
think
needs
that
to
everybody's
basically
gonna gain
change
so much
drivers.
time
He'll
on
have
us
to
right
go
now.
all the way around and come into the pit lane to do so, because I believe you
So
can't
all
just
the Sennas are coming
Ah,
in. You need to
yeah,
have a pit
we
stop
shouldn't
to
have
actually
changed
do it.
tires.
So Ferris Stanley will have to come round and serve.
Okay, Arne is-
basically almost
Arne
like a
is
driver
changing
development
tires, but
sort of, but
Patel
he needs to
wa-
get out of the car
Patel
because
did
that
not.
connection
Patel
is
did
not
not.
stable,
Mhm.
and unfortunately,
He will be slow. He will be
for,
slow.
Mitchell Hoyer, someone has
And
paid
Borja
the
missed
price.
his
You were saying that basically,
his pit box.
you know, a few people coming in the pit lane. Everyone will come in the pit lane at the moment.
Here is
So they'll
Jerome
just take fuel. Some will take
coming in.
tyres as well.
Number
Who those
19 is
drivers
out.
will be, we'll have
Staying out.
I'll let you know eventually.
Okay.
Although that said, we don't really
That's
know
bad,
the
but okay.
Chris Shepard, 1 echo.
based
We're
on
back
where
to
people are
green
and,
in 10
hope
seconds.
that
Okay, we're gonna miss a
there's
bit of time, so
information
yeah.
everyone. So if you've got that information, throw it our way.
5,
Patel, Alfati
4,
and,
3,
Chinchik are all
2,
out. Arne
1,
Stonefleet is
green
definitely
flag.
taking tyres as he's still in pit lane.
Yeah, he is, and everybody is in, as you rightly
We're
say.
back to green in 10 seconds.
Here we go then. Patel and Al-Sabti clearly haven't taken tyres here because they're out already. Simply leave now.
Green flag.
And we are back underway then at Silverstone. Mohamed Patel cycles out for the race lead. He's just taken fuel off of that code 80, and Patel will be leading the way. Hani Al-Sabti,
Oh, shit.
Chinchik,
Oh, going
and
wide.
Arne Stonefleet, who's dropped down the order. Second place and third place.
Oh,
now in
Patel
LMP2.
went wide.
That battle's still going to rage
Yeah,
on
he
as,
has no tires,
straight
man.
up
In S1.
goes Mohamed Patel. Dennis Jordan and Rory McDuff cycle up the order a few places. They were
Okay,
fourth and fifth, they're now
tell me,
second and
who am I
third.
battling with?
So
Like, is
the other
everybody on
drivers
the same lap?
have
Yeah,
taken
there
to
are
the pit
actually.
lane for a
Yes.
slightly extended stop. The likes of Ibrahim Khan, who's now down
Okay,
in
time to
12th
overtake, I
place.
guess.
So that has really thrown the order up in the air.
It really has. So Patel is leading, Al-Sabti second, Chinsik in third, Stonefleet fourth, and Jordan is fifth, followed by Rory McDuff, and there's still guys.
I
getting
really
out of
want
the
to
pit
see
lane.
Michael's stream. I
Julius
think all the
Rego is
Haltzmals
leading
came
now,
out.
as is Joran Kuiku, yep, Roman Yakubovic
Yeah, don't
as
talk to me
well,
like
as
I don't need that
Anders
info.
Andreasen.
Tell me
So
which
all
Sennas
guys
are in front of me.
What is going on in GTE as well? Well, they're staying
And
out,
which
so
place
some
am
of
I?
those guys have really been caught
You
out
are
here.
B6.
So in about 20 minutes time,
The
Excellent.
two Sennas ahead are 1 echo.
they're going to be down the order here, and that is going to be very interesting to see because
Patel
they've missed
is
the boat on
leading.
this one. The code 80 came
Al
out
Sabti
after
second.
They went past the pit entry, and
Arne
that means
third.
They won't get a free
Yeah,
pit
Arne
stop,
stopped for
whereas
tires.
half of the guys did.
It's so we've got in the top of the screen that you can see there, we've got the banners which show pit stops. and how many people have done. So you can see who has done a stop and who hasn't. As you're right, DX Droids, Satellite and Varga, none of those lot have stopped. That would be the same for the likes of Christian.
Okay, I'm gonna need an estimate from you. How much am I gaining per lap to Hani or Patel? If I'm not, this was a very bad call, just so you know.
Have you completed the lap?
No. Now I'm starting it. But I'm in traffic, so...
Michi Hoyer's got a penalty.
And both of them haven't...
What was the penalty for Michi Hoyer?
Pitted for tires, only for fuel.
He's in the pit lane at the moment.
Probably
So I'm gonna be faster regardless, I think.
Whereas things go bad to worse for Burst Esports.
Yeah, they are going from bad to worse for that disconnect. Well, not disconnection, but connection problems, leading to them losing their rear wing, bringing out the first Code 80 of the day, and now that's just rubbing salt in the wound. Really, they are back out onto the circuit. By the way, Michi Hoyer, he's 15 seconds behind Anthony Jans, so not all is lost actually. For Hoyer. However, he may have to come into the pit lane again to serve a penalty, and it's going to be a long road to recovery from here.
I wonder if we spent pit lane.
Michael, for no reason, got time penalty.
There we go, though. You can see in
by whom?
On the right,
by the game.
Screen where you've got
nice.
I don't know why.
The people who have stopped, the people who haven't stopped.
I think Jimmy will maybe remove it.
I don't know why it says 0, but either way, if you look in the GT category where it's definitely more apt. You can see the top 7 drivers have yet to stop. So
I'm losing time behind Alisi.
Shout for them.
Oh, he's so slow. Oh my god, he's so slow.
Only in the 53 Musto esports car. So whether that's going to work out in the favour of the likes of Elias Fernandez, I mean, it's a big swing for the likes of Bioni, as you were saying. The thing is, though, is they've obviously only really taken fuel and stuff on their
Yellow win sector 3.
Because it would have taken too long. Some drivers further back would have done. Oh,
yep.
Sterling's off.
Aston Martin is wrong way around.
Oh, that's a big spin. Oh, steady on. He needs to be careful rejoining.
Don't, Sebastian Vettel.
Exactly. He's down 2. Where is he down to? He's still dropping down the order, actually. 15th place overall.
Tell me Patel's lap times.
Approaching 40th. In class,
too many.
How it happened with a final chicane.
Both did 3.0.
It looks like he
okay.
Not sure how to call that one, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm not really sure either. It kind of, respectfully for Derlin, it looks realistically from that angle like he was losing it already.
Yeah.
And whilst, I mean, don't get me wrong, you're going side by side in that complex like that. So
oh, Michael is right in front of me.
But either way, it's not worked out.
The Michael is very angry.
Andrea Riccielli is also...
I mean, I would be as well, so, yeah.
Oh, no, he hasn't. Never mind. That was just a bit of a connection problem, a bit of a jolt by that car, which is a little bit disconcerting for everyone around him, but he's just making a bit of a recovery at the moment. 20th place in class, 41st overall, but one note on Brioni, I definitely think that he will be leading this race after the after the pit stops for that top 7. Obviously everybody apart from the top 7 has come into the pit lane, by the way, so I think Musto GD Esports are going to be leading, and I think they're still going to have to make the same amount of stops they would have anyway. They're going to be able to save the fuel, but remember the GTs can go just a little over an hour, so with still 7 hours to save those minutes of fuel, maybe 15 minutes of fuel, that's easily doable for a GTE car. He's going to be making the same amount of stops than he was before. However, he's just got a free one under that code 80.
Yeah, basically just needs to save a lap every now and then. But for Tiziano Bioni, he's going to be taking, let's just say we expect anyway for him to be taking the lead in potentially around about 10 minutes time in the GTE category, first round of the season.
Patel 02.8, Honey 02.3.
Yeah, I can match that, but I'm stuck behind traffic at the moment.
I think not. I'm just going to have a look and see if there's anything doing. You've got an onboard on the top right of your screen. That is with the number 53 Musto GD Esports car. I'm looking inside the car and it seems perfectly fine with how the wheel is tracking. So I'm assuming that the damage isn't too bad.
It doesn't look too bad, and his pace doesn't look too bad right now either. Let's get his last lap time up at 12.3. Those around him actually going slower than that. He's one of the fastest of those who've stopped. So maybe he did take tyres because he's faster, or maybe he didn't. We'll wait and see a little bit later on. Hard to work out just for the moment. I'll tell you one man who's on a mission right now, unassumedly not pleased with how that pit stop cycle has worked out. and so he is closing in on Marcel Cincic for 3rd overall. That could be a battle developing in the prototype class.
Yeah, it certainly is. 3rd in class then for Arne Schoenvliet is on the inside. That should be a fairly easy move on Cincic now as they light up out of the corner. Cincic leading the way in LMP2. Things are starting to be restored to normality as we've got 3
Okay,
hypercars
I got past Borja. Only Chris in front.
Which still seems a little bit weird, but
He's a long way ahead, so yeah.
LMP2 nearly won. Well, you know, it can happen in the real world as well. Why not?
Exactly, and interestingly, you've got 3 hypercars behind them and then another 3 LMP2s after that, so it is all chop and change. Nice bit of symmetry there in the top 12 as well, but still all going on in the field, loads of battles, this one between Schoenvliet and Cincic, which just seems to be dying out ever so slightly because the LMP2s are a little bit slow at this stage in the race. It looks like McDuff is being caught at the moment, Milan is making some progress, and Ibrahim Khan, despite being 2nd place a little bit earlier on, he's now dropped to 4th. I wonder if he took tyres where the others didn't.
Yeah, Chris Shepherd, by the way, this will go to your point as to why the LMP2s are a little bit slower. Currently P7 overall of 4th in class. Chris Shepherd's on the back of Rory McDuff.
Am I behind or ahead of Ibra?
A position change at least at some point here. One thing that I will note is remember that the LMP2s have come in. They've filled up on fuel. They've kept
He's 1 second behind Borja.
All the tyres effectively, although
okay.
the same for the hypercars anyway. Either way,
that's good.
Back to a full race tank of fuel. And for some of the hypercars, the likes of Chris Shepherd, they're on a lighter tank at the moment, you would assume anyway. And the likes of Arne Schoenvliet clearing away from Cincic. Remember, he's on fresher tyres. So this is where, like, strategically, if you were a big fan of LMP2 coming into today thinking LMP2 could win the race, you're going to be a little bit disappointed, because in LMP2, as much as over a lap and on pace they can fight it in the wet conditions with a hypercar, it's the stint lengths and the strategy that you've got in the hypercar category that just allows the hypercars to pull away. So why I was kind of surprised the likes of Dennis Jordan taking on an LMP2, obviously he's very comfortable in that car being a double champion in the LMP2 category. It's still a bit of a surprise because you would expect a driver like that prefers not only longer races, because they do, that's well known that they prefer the longer variant of races, but also longer stint lengths or more open strategy. LMP2 seems fairly closed when it comes to strategical developments.
Well, you say that, but there's additional. You can have additional tyre cycles, if you see what I mean. More double stinting in LMP2, which does provide itself with its own strategic games. And meanwhile, in the waiting booth, while we're up here just broadcasting to you guys, Ed Trevelyan-Johnson sat there. Don't really know why. Probably wants an interview, but sounds like Lewis is very pleased to see him. Might come up and have a chat with him. Here he is.
Well, we'll have a quick word with the man himself, Ed Trevelyan-Johnson, whilst we can see Chris Shepherd getting by the Nita Velix car. Should be a pretty easy move on Rory McDuff as a yellow flag is out. Ed, Team Sancho, 3 GTEs last season, moved out to 3 different cars across 3 different categories. How's the workload? Is it a bit more? Is it more comfortable with the team?
Yeah, hi Lewis. I just wanted to finish my interview from Le Mans last season.
I see. I can't even remember what it was. It just
it was my favourite.
Yeah. No, I see how it is. So you want the first interview of the season to be awkward? Is that what it is?
Is this the first interview of the season?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I've not been interviewing Ewan for 40 minutes, have I? Oh, an hour.
No, I don't know if anyone's come on so far. Like, I drop in and out of watching the broadcast or listening to it because sometimes I have to talk to people. But yeah, it looks. I mean, I guess what's exciting about the season so far is that this race has just thrown everyone. I have no idea where anyone is supposed to be. Big names are like down towards the bottom of their various fields. Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, I'm trying to keep up just with 3 cars in 3 different classes in my own team, let alone sort of trying to gauge where well-known rivals are. So yeah, I have no idea what I'm looking at the moment.
Is that
what you wanted?
No, I love the confusion. At the moment, we're looking at Jonas Rivio, who's down in 15th place overall, 8th in class, and actually the second highest of the Zancho effort as Jan von der Heide, who's directly ahead in the LMP2. It is a bit mad. Now the thing is, for you spreading resources across 3 categories, is everyone in the team comfortable behind the scenes? Of course, we know the pre-season hasn't been like the most comfortable experience, losing a car, being the Ferrari and stuff. But is everyone comfortable now in the team?
Yeah, the preseason was a shock. We were really dreadful, and yeah, some strong words were shared, and I think
almost the fastest lap, just so you know.
Thankfully, but yeah, I think the guys are fine. I suppose they're not benefiting from being able to all, you know, like at least
Shepard is doing low O2s,
which they were last season. But I think they're fine. The main person who's feeling the strain at the moment is Nick, who's engineering for all 3 cars, and we've got
low O2s. Holy shit, he's quick.
Haven't been able to do much for this round so far.
I think changing tires definitely was a mistake.
But yeah, a little bit. I mean, I think the GT is doing okay.
I mean, we'll see at the end of the stint.
I think there's a little bit of controversy about.
I'm guaranteeing it, man, with my life, that it was a mistake.
But I think the Corvette
is Arne catching Patel?
Obviously, one of
or
the faster
Honey?
cars.
No.
So we
See?
have
Mistake.
no excuse. But yeah, I think the
All 3 are driving same pace.
well.
Mistake.
To be honest, as long as
that's
I
all
can
you need
see
to know,
the
basically.
logos
Fuck.
on those in that sort of 3-class standings.
Okay. We'll learn from our mistakes, I guess.
If I can see the Zancho logos on the hypercar and the LMP2 things, then that's fine. Like if they come top 8 in both classes, that's fine. Like we've just started out in those classes, and so we have no frame of reference.
So it's all just learning, especially with the conditions for Zancho. Thank you, Ed, for joining us. I'm sure we'll hear your lovely voice as the 3rd commentator in the booth every now and then throughout the season.
I haven't commentated on anything.
I see.
The last time I commentated on something was for a broadcast that you couldn't turn up to.
Well, thanks, Ed. Anyway, we'll let you get back to your team.
Just before I go, I wanted to just here's my goodbye.
Oh, of course it is. Thanks, Ed.
Thanks.
Right, that's Ed Trevelyan Johnson of Zancho SimSport fame. I don't know if fame's really the right word, but nevertheless, currently running in class 7th, 8th and 10th. 7th in LMP2, the one that we're looking at for Jan von der Heide, and the 8th place one of Jonas Raivio in LMHC. I nearly said LMP1 then. It's definitely not that class. And then JJ running down in 10th place in class. I don't know about you. I feel the spread. I don't know. I'm actually very happy to see Zancho liveries and other cars, but the spread across different categories maybe not working out in the opening stages.
Fucking shit, Musto.
I think that
Jesus,
that's going to happen.
Why would you do that, man? Like, no way that was faster
You're always going to
for
have
you.
that little bit of a phase where you're not quite. Well, I don't want to say not quite sure what you're doing, because they obviously know what they're doing. You know, it just takes a little bit of time to get used to it. And when GTs and prototypes are so different, then it can take a long time to get used to, and that's kind of what we're seeing with Zancho right now.
Yeah, we're currently looking Black Hawk Racing a little bit further down the grid. They're battling with pole sitter Andrea Ricelli, who's trying to work.
Who has the fastest lap? Is it Arne?
Alexander Jones directly ahead. Of course, Black Hawk had a bit of a tumultuous season last year with the loss of Josh Hoare and
Patel.
Just a bit of a struggle that
his last lap.
Nevertheless, though, we've got Alex Brautigam in the car at the moment.
2 minutes.
I know.
The season started.
Hello, I'm Alex.
But I think the track is getting a lot faster. Yeah. It's the track. Somebody did a 2:00, just so you know. So I think that's Arne, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's still raining.
It's raining, but less, I think, because it's faster, much faster, you know.
From Germany, and our crazy Californian guy from US, Christopher. We finished last year 7th in LMGP Division 1, which is okay, but of course not perfect. We hadn't had this perfect season. But despite the results, the team atmosphere was pretty good. We had a lot of, and I think we just fit together. And why should we change running team? Therefore, we will head into another season with this lineup. And yeah, speaking about endurance experience, I will go into my. It should be the 6th season.
I think Arne will go now into the 59s.
So I would say I have a lot of endurance experience, especially I'm running a lot of additional races in other communities. So I simply love this kind of racing, and it's way better than sprint racing, and I will do it as long as I can, and I still enjoy it, and yeah, I have fun. So yeah, expectations. Well. This year is special because, of course, we get
Yep. 59-3. Jesus.
Into Division 1, but this year the new BOP will play a big role. It will give us a lot of new motivation.
All top 3 did blow 59.
I know.
By 0, but yeah, need to get used to this new.
I will see what does Shepard do.
Yeah, it will be.
He'll be faster because I had a lot of traffic.
At least we don't have 3 Sanchez in our class, so
Shepard did 1:01.8.
It's still a lot of really competitive
Okay.
teams, and I like this because it's definitely the most competitive community in the world in rFactor 2. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. So yeah. Well, when I'm speaking about the schedule, for me it's yeah, Le Mans is a race. Le Mans is a race to target for. Well, of course there's some nice races, but I'm racing VEC especially because of Le Mans. And for me this one is the highlight of the season. And it's not my favorite track, interestingly, it's Sebring. Sebring is my favorite track, and I love this race as well, but Le Mans, so yeah. Well, yeah, some short interview from my side.
Shepard passed Jordan.
I wish all of
How
us
long was your video that you made?
hopefully a lot of
2.5 minutes, 2.4 minutes. No, 2 minutes, 40 seconds or 30, something like that. Why?
Well, thank
One
you
guy
there
just
to,
talked for
Ralph
4
who,
minutes.
helped us with a bit of. All drivers basically had to put in a video pre-season, and as Nico
First
Bartlett
cut track,
pointed
just
out,
so you know.
realistically, it seems like a bit of good luck for the drivers when we play these videos, because that's the second time that we've had that, and we've had a move. Brougham getting by the Speedy Mike car. Either way, whilst we have passed the hour mark, we are 6 hours and 52 minutes to go. Let's have a look at our current race order, which is being led by at the moment, Jean Lacey Esports with Mohammed Patel at the front. See if it works. That's a solid no. There we go. Right. Perfect. This is the current standings overall. So this is with everyone matched in class as well. So this is how things look at the moment. Jean Lacey Esports leading the way from RH Esports and Nigeria Racing. Not much actually separating those 10 seconds on the road. And there is a battle for the race lead, which we will come back to, between Hani Al-Sabti and Mohammed Patel. You've got the LMP2 leader of Vargason Racing ahead of Chris Shepherd in Hypercar. We're going backwards and forwards here, so we've got a bit of a mess. We've got Dennis Jordan, who's second place in LMP2, Antonovsky, who's currently in the top 5 of LMHC, and then Rory McDuff on the podium, which I'm sure they'll be pretty happy with starting out. Herman Stocky, new driver for the NV team, taking over after Rory McDuff. Devin Browner not taking
If I pass Shepard, we are where we started, right?
We'll see him in 2021 in the virtual
Where did we start?
when we come back in the new
Before.
year.
Yes.
Borja Milan and Ibrahim
Okay.
Khan.
I thought you asked overall.
A little bit further down the order.
That was P.
One of the drivers that was
6.
contending for the championship last
Yes.
year and was so impressive in LMP2 ahead of Peo Pev, who for Butler Power we're looking forward to seeing good things from over the course of season 13. We've got Armstrong Racing, the 2 Zan shows.
Just so you know, market, 1 cut.
Jeroen Kwekel, who's a bit further down the order than we would maybe have expected for G-Drive, but either way, 16th place overall is where he is. And Roman Yakubovic, who's driving for Blackhawk Pescara SRT. Interesting team that, obviously.
Jeroen is
having their
P9.
car. Roman Jakubovic has
Overall or
from
in class.
okay?
And to be fair, it's quite a strong lineup. One that we might see a little bit further through the season. DX Droids in
Has an hour passed of this race.
The Mr. Spaghetti
What?
Snapper himself, first.
Has an hour passed.
Yes.
And then Anthony and Team Spirit Racing, 20th place. Not expecting that. Season 8 champion in LMP2, of course, a very different car back then. And Michi Hoyer, after some terrible luck, rounds out the prototype category, both of them, in 21st place. Then from then on back, we've got our GTE category. Pelesny leading for Varga Sim Racing. Good drive from him thus far, moving over from Juices Motorsports Club last season over to Varga Sim Racing. Satellite Racing directly behind, so it's a Porsche 1-2. I think a lot of drivers would have expected that.
Rain is definitely getting lighter.
Ed speaking about the controversial, in air quotes, bop. And the Porsche seeming to come out fairly well in that one. Elias Fernandez, earlier race leader, DX Droids
So,
in third place.
you and Arne are driving faster than Hani and Mohammed.
Yeah, but the time loss, man. Like
Racing. Around about the 9 cars at the head of the GT.
Arne is now 6.6 seconds behind those two.
Johnson, JJ, there he is, Mr. Old Man. I think it was his birthday not too long ago. He's sharing a car with Goran Djordjevic.
When he came out of the pits, I think the gap was 10 seconds.
So it's the
Not sure.
Old men.
he also gained because he finished his stop while we were on the core 80, and I had to wait for further like 12 seconds, I think.
Speaking of disappointment, Adam Baldwin. Sorry, I know Nick Newcomb will be watching. Hey Nick. Of course, Juices Motorsports Club, they were fighting towards the front end last season in various races. They were the season 11 champions, currently running outside the top 10, not really working out for him. Alejandro Lopez Ayona, Martin Derl, another couple of drivers we would expect to see a little bit higher up the grid. Ramada Motorsport, Blackhawk Racing, and Wayframe Esports Speedy might round out the rest of those. There's still a few more after that, but of course we'll see Richelli move his way up the order. We're short. Then Alexander Jones, the Sim Racing Izen Performance's second car. And then Caspian Motorsport, who've not really had a good round. Ground Effect Sim Racing, who've been hit with a lot of connection issues over the opening part of the race, are the final car on the grid. It has been a pretty crazy opening hour and a bit.
It has indeed. Yeah, and Mohammed Patel has come out on top for the first hour and a bit, as you say. He came under a lot of fire actually while we were just under that, doing that rundown from Hani Al Sabti. I really thought he was going to be overtaken at one point, Patel, but he managed to hang on. He's pulled out a 2.5 second margin here once again. Now you can see, well, I can see with the track mark I've got open at the moment, it is chaos out there. There are cars everywhere. There's just lapping going on every single lap now for the hypercars from now until the end of the race. And a point on GTE as well. These guys are going nearly 1 hour and 15 into this race, so maybe those guys who pitted under the code 80 aren't looking in quite such a good space, because I was expecting these GTEs to be making 7 stops throughout the race. It looks like they could even do this on 6, maybe 5 if they really stretch this out.
Yeah, you were saying that before. They're really going deep into the race. We expect them now. We're approaching 1 hour and 15 on this stint, but of course we did have the code 80 as well, which a lot of these drivers will have taken fuel on, so that'll definitely help. One thing, this is Andre Kirili. Ahead of this is JJ. I've been told a nice nugget of information from Ed is that JJ is 40 years old. It was his 40th birthday fairly recently. Goran Djordjevic, a couple of days ago, became a 50-year-old, half a century for Goran Djordjevic. At the moment, and he's telling me to just say that he's 30 anyway. He's not 30 yet, I'm sorry, but we're going to roll with it, and we'll find out when this is actually going to change. But Sido Vaya, who's in the car later on, he's 29 at the moment. So at some point,
he's in the 57s. How?
They will have a driver that's 30, a driver that's 40, and a driver that's 50. So for those of you that like your numbers, 30, 40, 50, there you go. There's the car for you, the number 87. Shame it's not a round number on that part.
And I think that Dan Kell's not too far from turning 20, isn't he? So at least he's not that far away. So I think that we may indeed get like all 10s in that car.
He's not. The thing is with Kell, that is actually a really good point. But that said, old DK himself is not in the car anymore.
Oh.
But that is actually a really good point, because I think he's 20.
Honey has taken the lead.
Sorry, Dan. 20 years old. 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 20 thought it was next.
Damn,
month.
okay.
I don't remember.
Oh,
I think it's December.
Sorry, Al Sabti's going for the lead here. I'm happy to tell. I think that's into turn 1.
So,
They're really
perfect
close,
for
not. But yeah, really almost like, oh my god, that was close. But Al Sabti gets the place in the end. Patel demoted to second place. He's been following for a long time as Al Sabti, and he's finally got the place.
Yeah, Brooklyn's corner goes the way of Hani Al Sabti, but closing in on this very, very quickly. Arne Schoenfleet as they go each way around the Caspian Motorsport.
Is Arne behind them?
Hani Al Sabti
Or is it still like 6 seconds?
7.4.
Here in Silverstone,
6.7.
How is he losing? What is going on? Okay, I think we have to agree we made a mistake, right?
And this is actually one thing that
I still would like to see the end of the stint.
Even if they lose time.
Some of the worst conditions that we could be racing.
Why is Fournier riding with me?
Realistically, everything's
Hello?
been pretty decent when it comes to
Riding with you.
He's Fournier, yeah.
We've not seen any ridiculous moves. We've not seen any major incidents, with the exception of the Michi Hoyer one with connection. There was a couple of little brushes.
Okay, he's not anymore.
The likes of Volante and Jean Lacey Sports. JJ's got a penalty. JJ has received a penalty. That will be for track cuts.
Yeah, it should be, and now there's a yellow flag in sector 2 as well.
Someone got
car. They
penalty for gut tracks.
Brioni
I don't know who.
third because the GTE pit stops have begun. The Varga sim racing car, Vojta Polesny, is first of those who didn't stop under that code 80. He's down in 9th place.
Did Shepard
so
even pit?
No. Then he has got a lot of work to do in this race now.
Shepard is the only Senna who stayed out.
Okay.
In front because there's still 2 to pit. DX Droids and Waveframe Esports haven't come into the pit lane for their first stop yet, but the 6 in front of Polesny have all stopped, and he's got a lot of work to do from now on.
Yeah, I think to be fair, I think all drivers have got a lot of work to do because it is still a long race. As we were saying about Juice's Motorsports Club, with maybe not running so well at the moment. The bit of advice from Nick Newcomb was that it's still early in the race. It's race 1, and there is a long way to go. And he is absolutely right. Whether
Nick Newcomb has been mentioned more than us this race.
Season that we've had in the Virtual Endurance Championship.
Have we ever been mentioned?
To the pit lane.
I think maybe once.
Then will take the lead.
Jeez,
of the race.
that's
as long
sad.
as Waveframe Esports stay out, and you kind of suspect they will. So the race lead goes the way in GTE of Waveframe Esports again.
Yeah, they do indeed. Just going on to complete lap 34 now for Ilias Fernandez. He's been able to go a little bit longer than those around him, but Brioni is going to take second here. Going to see where Fernandez comes out here now, because Polesny was quite close to him on the circuit, and he was actually embroiled in a battle with Nasula, was Fernandez, so we'll see where he comes out, what the tyre situation is like in GTE, because double stinting a set of tyres in GTE seems like requires a 2.5-hour stint on one set of tyres, and that is a long time.
It is, and the thing is as much as you see it a lot at Le Mans, there we go. Ilias Fernandez out of the box after 38 seconds, so he is
okay. He's starting to rain more.
Tyres.
Just so you know,
at Le Mans we see doubles, we see triples.
I'm barely
some crazy
keeping the car on track with the way that I drove, so I think I'll have to slow down now.
Long time ago, so that's fine. I was very slow. The thing is, around here,
check how much slower was I last lap.
That said, with it being wet, you're actually
compared to the leaders. Was it
a
match, or like was it me, or is it the track?
So realistically, they should be able to go for a good couple of hours, couple and a half hours.
You are driving as fast as them.
Lap times or not?
Okay.
We'll have to wait and see. And
okay, not this lap. I lost a second and a half because I went on the grass and I barely stopped the car.
Patel, leading the race by 1.5 seconds. Closing in on that though, Arne Schoenfleet, who's in 3rd place at the moment for Ajira Racing, who we know is on fresher tyres. A yellow flag's come out in sector 2. Not sure
just in front of the race leader. Just in front of the race leaders at Luffield now. Somebody has gone off. Didn't know who it was though. Just rejoining the 87 car, the GTE. It's James Johnson in the Sancho car. Well, we said it's not been the smoothest transition for them, and it's not really going quite so well in the main race either.
He took a bit of a whack as well from the Butler Powell car. It was a half spin on his front with was JJ at Luffield, but it did take quite a boff after all of that. Arne Schoenfleet slotting his way ahead. There goes JJ straight across at Beckett. Doesn't get in the way of Arne Schoenfleet at all. the Belgian, will fire his way through. Yeah, it's not really worked out. Renz Klopp then into the pit lane, so he's gone quite far, which means that, as we called, with a great, Brioni going to be taking the lead. Here's a replay. This will be at Love Field.
Tell me their last lap time.
JJ, who they're going for his half
What?
spin. And as
Tell me the top 3's last lap time.
That wasn't insignificant, was it? That was a pretty big hit.
Hani
I
and
wouldn't be
Mohammed
surprised if there was a
low
bit of damage
04.
on that, and if it's rear suspension damage,
Arne
it's
06.
significantly more difficult to deal with. There it is. Sancho
Jesus
into the pit
Christ.
lane. It has
They
not
had
been
lots
the
of
greatest
traffic.
start to the season for them, and
I
it's
know.
continuing on
I'm
in
passing
that
some of
vein.
it now.
So the battles that are going on are going to be...
Yeah,
it's raining heavily now.
We are catching Shepard.
That's severe.
Oh,
Yeah,
like
that's
spikes.
severe. That's going to be a little
Oh.
while in the pit stop, I would expect.
Oh god.
Oh, that was, thank the Lord, it wasn't a start in a straight line. Holy shit.
Unfortunately, it's not
RF2
really working out.
moment.
It wasn't JJ that was in the car. It was
Oh,
Steve's
that was
car.
scary as fuck, man.
JJ was in the 77, and Goran was in the 97.
Oh,
They've
I
all
almost
kind of
bumped,
come
nice.
together in the 87. But either way, for the series champions, regardless.
Oh, I lost so much
Zancho's
time because of the
GT run
GT
at
now.
the moment, not looking
Fuck
so
me.
hot.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
I
the
lost
rain
3
still coming
seconds.
down, of course.
Due to a
Really
stupid
hard at the
mistake.
moment, 70%
Shepard is gonna
clear
catch 4
the
GTs.
rain out there, and if you're not really familiar with
Oh my god,
rFactor
it's
2, that
so...
is hard. That's
It
hard
wasn't
rain.
this bad
And it's
before,
gonna
just so
make
you
it
know.
pretty difficult
This is
to
next
steer.
level.
Obviously, it could go up to 100%, as
Holy
most
shit,
things
it's
do, but,
undrivable.
you know, it's
Wait, so the
difficult to
track
deal
is
with
now
that
even
right now. We're
worse?
starting to see the
Yeah,
mistakes
yeah.
creep in. I've noticed the
All of a
frequency
sudden.
with the yellow flags are coming out is
No, it
ever
started to
so
rain more,
slightly
man. Like,
not
I can
up.
see a lot more
Yeah.
drops even.
But it's still a very
Okay.
clean race. In terms of car
Then it's
on car
understandable they are
interaction,
doing
it's been very
Go4s.
clean. As you mentioned a little bit earlier, that Michi Hoyt is the only one really...
I'm losing
close.
like half a second per
And that was
corner
caused
even, like...
by a
Maybe not that
connection
much,
issue,
but
so we
yeah,
can't
you get the
really,
point.
Put any drivers at fault for that one. So, you know, it's been a very clean race in terms of driver
Shepard
on
hit the
driver
GT.
interaction, as meanwhile, Palesny and
I'm
Fernandez
right behind him.
are
How many
battling
laps
for
do you
fifth
have?
place overall.
A
Could
lot,
it be
25.
end up being the lead of the race? We'll find out a little bit later.
Tell
But
me
Palesny's
when
got
you
to
have
make sure. I
15.
wonder if he's had a-
Okay.
he has a big problem.
I will go
Monaco
to practice
involved
server.
as well.
My goodness, we'll need to check out what's happened here. Palesny for Vargas Sim Racing. Combs
Okay,
going everywhere.
yeah, I
Things
see
not
Shepard
working
got
out there.
wrecked.
I'm assuming it's been some ambitious
Was it his fault or-
traffic of,
I don't
of
know.
some
I saw
description,
the
but-
aftermath.
Well, we'll need to check that one out again. That's not good for.
They're gonna show the replay.
for Palesny and for Varga, his new team this season. Oh dear,
Used to be Juice's driver, I
indeed
believe.
he was. Indeed he was.
Now moving over to Varga.
Mate,
Let's
I
see
cannot get
what
the power down.
transpired.
I'm not
Oh,
even
it's looking
joking
good
right
for
now.
Palesny, is it?
Jesus
He's
Christ.
gonna be into the pit lane, surely. Here's the replay.
Oh,
Wow,
it was a
not
bad
offside.
move by
They're having
me.
a great battle with Fernandez and Palesny into Maggots and Beckett's. It's tight. Oh, it's a squeeze and spin.
Okay, so two GTs collided.
Okay.
LMP2 behind them slowed down to not hit them, and then Shepard came full speed into the LMP2.
Oh, shit, okay.
So it was like my kind of luck.
I mean, yeah, but Shepard should have been more aware, if we're honest.
Because he did hit the back of his fellow Porsche there. And, speaking of hitting the back of cars, that was nearly.
Okay,
Car ain't stopping, man. Car ain't stopping, just so you know.
People are doing lots of mistakes right now.
Yeah, because you need to adapt. Like, I'm doing lots of mistakes as well. Like, I cannot drive this anymore.
They have got to be out of the running for this race for the moment. They're just
It's
gonna be
undrivable.
some points at the very best now.
Yeah, in my
Red
opinion,
flag
it's silly.
decision.
You know, going racing into there as hard as you are. Of course, you know you're allowed to. There's
I
no
don't
rule
know. I
against
don't even
it.
know this one, man.
But you're going side by side into one of the fastest complexes of corners we go to all season, and it is what can only be described.
At
as
this
quite
point,
wet.
GTR
Flag
24
come out
rounds
again.
would take out the safety car.
It was
Wait,
maybe
is that a thing?
short-sighted to give
Like
that
for
one,
rain?
attempts
I don't know.
somewhat to yield, and they
But they do
didn't.
take out the safety
Well,
car with real
it's not really worked
man
out.
driving.
Kirili's dropped off the back quite far from Leandro Papo.
Oh, I believe
Where are
the
the yellow
car
flags gone
maybe has spun or lost a few positions anyway. Has Ibrahim Khan, not quite, he's short. He's down into 13th overall, sorry, and 6th in class, just behind Arisi. Valerio Ferrari
That's
is trying
so
to make
much-
his way
so
through
optimistic of me.
in that hypercar.
Jesus,
wonder what
I could
happened
not
there.
get the
Maybe
car
there
stopped
wasn't
in
an
time,
incident
and
at all,
yeah. He switched back. Am I on stream with him, at least?
Nope.
Of course.
You were just mentioned.
Shepard has actually held on there, as all these positions are beginning to chop and change around.
In before they will show your video when I'm driving.
After that incident earlier on, but they've managed to stay in 5th overall just for now.
This is so difficult.
I think it was Shepard. I think it was.
They are showing your onboard.
I saw a car very close behind, and there isn't a car.
Nice, finally.
Whoever it was coming through, I'm not going to be...
I think this is the first time we see onboard from Senna.
I'm not going to be too harsh, but
and it's our car as well.
Coming through there really should have been a bit
Nice.
more cautious, because it was very obvious there was an incident happening. There was yellow flags in the air, and they made contact with
Whoa!
Well, they
Almost
were coming through
collected the guy.
The break through Maggots and Beckett's and that hard.
Yeah.
When there's a car stopped
I got
dead
hit
in the middle
by
of the
GT.
road, you know,
Hope it's
he's
not
turning anyway,
too much.
And there's another yellow flag. Now, this battle continues
I
between
didn't even
Shepard
feel on the wheel,
and
but
Andonovski. Hopefully
it's
they're
dark
not
blue
heading towards
on
the
that
incident.
corner.
They're not. It's the Zancho car
Okay,
again.
it's not much, I think.
Oh my goodness, Andonovski.
Holy shit, there's no grip on outside the racing line.
Okay, that was interesting.
Did you see it?
It's on stream, yes.
No, not Polesny, I'm getting confused. That's Adam Baldwin, sorry. Who was up in 6th position. I'm getting confused. That's Polesny's old car. But Baldwin...
Car feels okay, just so you know.
And he might have lost a position out of all that.
I think it does, at least. I don't know.
There was fairly severe contact between them there, and...
Commentator says fairly severe contact.
Cars were going side by side. Adam Baldwin, who's in 27th.
No, even the steering is straight. What?
That was unfortunate. But
yeah, car is completely fine. Maybe the fucking damper is damaged, but
I think their car is fucked.
I mean, that was their fault, I think.
He's slightly right-hand down, I think. So the car does seem a touch damaged.
They should have been more aware. I didn't do anything wrong.
The damage he picked up in that
Replay time.
Another main player in this race taken out by that incident. Such a shame as we see Adam Baldwin once again going for that.
Wait, I'm doing 08s, man. 08s at the moment.
Commentators, curse me.
Jesus.
You are doing 08s, Honey is doing 07.0.
There you go, first one of the season.
Mohammed Patel,
There
06.2.
you have it. In 6th place at the moment.
Arne?
For Adam Baldwin. He may well be making an extra stop
Doesn't show.
shortly.
Oh, he had a cut track.
Indeed.
Borja Milan,
So,
07.9.
you can see the damage on the front right, fairly broken, but not too bad. Right.
And the last lap was the slowest, but I think that was because of contact.
Yeah, I know.
Racing LMP2 leader of Marcel Chinchik coming through there.
What are these GTs doing, man? Honestly.
There goes around the outside. Kirili's making it work, and out of the corner, he's got Chris Shepard directly behind. They're going to go side by side through Aintree. Surely someone's got to back out now. It's going to be Kirili just hanging on with a big moment on the exit of the corner.
Okay, I'm close to Sisnik, I think. How's that? How does that work?
3 seconds.
How?
Sisnik is half a minute behind P3 overall.
Dangerous move. My goodness.
That's Arne.
I know, but he was like 15 ahead of me. Not too long ago.
I'm
I think he spun or something.
I'm not sure.
And so there we go. Kirili up to 2nd place.
What happened?
I am... Hearts racing a little bit there after the hypercar decided it was a good idea to throw it down the inside, but you know, I mean, fair move, just a bit risque.
It was just a little bit, but they all came out the other side unscathed, so I guess that's all okay in the end. As 90 minutes into this race, there's still battles going on. Yellow flag in Sector 2 once again. What is it for this time? It's Mitty Hoyer again.
I think he's very slow for some reason, like, I don't know what's going on.
It's not been a good day for those guys. Just rejoined
Sisnik.
now,
Oh, Shepard in the pits.
really not
Finally.
it was looking so good for Hoyer.
Since last lap was 09.1.
Just a half spin effectively coming out of...
Yeah, this is gonna be even slower for him, I think.
Just a half spin from Luffield, and he's able to get going. There's no damage on the car, so he's all well and good, so no panics there. By the way, just got a message from Nick Newcomb saying that the Juices car of Adam Baldwin is continuing to circulate, basically assessing the damage as JJ has returned to the pit lane, so I'm assuming from Luffield, and he's able to get going. There's no damage on the car, so he's all well and good, so no panics there. By the way, just got a message from Nick Newcomb saying that the Juices car of Adam Baldwin is continuing to circulate, basically assessing the damage as JJ has returned to the pit lane, which is ready to take that one over. I believe Chris Shepard is about to hop out of the car close friend Jeffrey Fournier. Yuri Toman as well is ready to take over one of the Vargason racing cars, and Alex Siebel also ready to take over from Dennis Jordan.
Fournier will drive the car.
I know.
Drivers waiting to get
He was riding with me.
Chris Shepard he can't have pitted under that first. Have picked up in that instance.
And now the lap times are dropping again.
Short, but yeah, that's a real shame.
Track conditions are very interesting.
Unscheduled, although it might be on schedule in the same vein. Not entirely sure at this stage.
Well, whilst we're with Adam Baldwin, let's take a listen to what he said about Juices Motorsports Club before the season.
We're a values-driven team.
I know what this guy is doing, man, but he's super slow.
Perseverance, pride, and appreciation. We rate our success on these values rather than the results on track. That said, we're here to win.
Well, there we go, Adam Baldwin. Thanks for his good luck as well before the race started. Unfortunately, maybe he forgot to give the good luck to himself. Still running in an okay position at the moment, but just really assessing the damage on that car. It's 27th overall, 6th in GTE as a class, which is, you know, it's okay, but realistically, it's a bit of a struggle at the moment to get that car around the circuit.
How many laps do you have?
They've got behind them as well
21.
The satellite racing car, I believe that is, certainly is, who's a bit further down the order.
Okay, I will go to practice.
Who's started out the race very well and currently in 18th after various issues.
It exit is clear. Let's get some heat into these brakes.
I wonder is the practice server better on same weather as the division servers?
Currently it's raining at 77%.
P6 has gone off. Green
What
flag
is
sector 1.
yours?
Air and track temperatures are increasing. Air temperature is now 29. The track temperature is now 29 Celsius.
Well, my track condition is 99%.
No. Raining.
Rain is 20.
20? Okay, so it's a lot more wetter here.
Oh no.
Okay, how many people are there on the server?
37.
Okay, you are gonna have to brake a lot earlier here. Like, do a lap. Currently, I'm doing 206s, man.
Like, where are you braking?
Well...
150?
For what corner? Tell me a corner.
The end of sector 1.
At
The left corner.
Your brake temperatures
between
are fine,
100
mate.
and 150 before
Your front tyres
the
are cold.
curb begins.
Okay.
So, yeah, so before
We've got light rain
the
here,
curb
getting
begins.
harder. Car left, clear left.
When it was dried, I was braking at the curb, you know?
Yellow flag in sector 1. Blue flag. Past the car behind.
I'm like, why isn't Seasoning pushing? And I just realized that Seasoning has like a 30-second lead, man. There was no need for him to push.
We think that Drury has crashed.